Are you finding yourself with too much month at the end of the money? Do you feel like you are drowning in debt with no way out? Did you know that this is by design to keep you feeling defeated, down, and depressed? I'm telling you, dumb debt is of the enemy. Dumb debt is of the devil. So in today's podcast, I'm going to show you a way out. My hope for my future is that you leave here with a lot of hope for your future. Just like eating a sandwich one bite at a time, the same approach works for eliminating debt. You just need to commit to eating that sandwich, just like you've got to commit to eliminating your debt. Granted, eating the sandwich is a lot easier, but you'll find that over time, eliminating your debt becomes easier as well. And I'm talking about dumb debt here. So don't want to get you confused with mortgage debt versus dumb debt. And I'm going to define what that is. But I do promise it is going to get easier. You just need to get that muscle conditioned. Kind of like, I just got back from the gym. And I wanted to get this out for you before the weekend started. I'm recording this on a Friday. I'm telling you, I found this most incredible gym that keeps me excited to go back there because they've got really amazing recovery, like cryogenic recovery. They've got infrared sauna, cold plunge, massage, and then also the strength training because we got to keep our muscles strong. So once we get conditioned, it's a lot easier to keep doing the thing because it feels so good. And we don't want to go back to what was. And that's why I say you've got to condition that dumb debt dumping muscle. So super important because remember, my goal is to get you in a position where you can take advantage of investing in real estate when that opportunity arises. So I want to make sure that you are ready to jump when somebody says go. All right. So first, before we get rolling into the whole debt conversation, I do want to introduce myself in case you haven't been here before. My name is Pamela J of PamelaJandCo.com. I am the host of this podcast, The Rebuild Project. I am a real estate and education investor, and I'm a perpetual mentor. I cannot stop mentoring people. It's a passion of mine. When God in this horrible situation after my third marriage failed, I partnered with God, asked him to be my chairman of the board. I'll be the CEO. I'll pull up my bootstraps and get to work if he'll help me get out of this situation. And when he did help me get out of this situation, I promised him that I would then teach others who are in similar situations as me to do the same. So that's why I'm here. I am on a mission to help steward God's money the way we are supposed to grow God's money the way we are supposed to make kingdom impact and kingdom influence through kingdom income. So let's roll. All righty. So first, I am talking about consumer debt, what I call dumb debt. Those are things that we tend to finance, things like clothes, furniture, cars, student loan for a degree that doesn't even make sense. If you want to go to school and get a degree that requires a license or a certification or some specialization, that's a little different. But we have so many people spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on education, on student loans, getting these at the age of 18, not realizing they're going to have to pay them back once they graduate school, or maybe they quit school before they even graduate and still have to pay them back. I don't know if you've ever noticed, if you went to school, that everything is kind of antiquated. Their equipment's antiquated. They're teaching from a textbook. There are teachers who've never been in the business world. They don't really know what's going on. They're just teaching from theory. So these are really important things to consider before you take on any student loan debt. And I know a lot of parents want to live vicariously through their kids and think that if their kids don't go to college, that they're a failure. And I'm here to say I disagree. I had 3 children, 2 of whom didn't go to college. They made lives for themselves, and those are the 2 boys. So I hope that helps you understand the difference between consumer debt, or what I call dumb debt, and mortgage debt, which is smart debt. Let's talk about how you break that ball and chain, link by link, of your dumb debt. So the very first thing is it does start with a decision. You really have to decide that you are sick and tired of being in debt. I'm telling you, it weighs you down like you don't even know. I had $25,000 of student loan debt when my last marriage ended, and I did not know how I was going to get out of debt. Thankfully, I had ran into Dave Ramsey, who between him and God saved my life. I put the pedal to the metal to start over. And that's why I know from experience that you can do something different. I own now 3 rental homes, one in Alabama, one in Wyoming, and one in Southern California. So what's possible for me is so possible for you. And I didn't think so at the time when I had $25,000 in debt, but I made a commitment. I made a decision, a commitment that I was going to get out of that $25,000 in debt that very first year after that marriage ended. I kept my expenses low, my wants and needs significantly reduced. Things that I thought I needed were really just wants. I had to really make a decision. I evaluated every purchase. I put every single dollar that I could throw to that debt. And in less than a year's time, I was able to pay off that $25,000. So then I started thinking, well, if I can pay off that $25,000 in a year's time, and now then I didn't have any lingering debt at all, not even mortgage at that point in time. I thought, well, can't I then turn around and save $25,000 or more, because I'm not going to be paying interest. I'm going to be earning interest as I save. Can't I do that in a year as well? And then perhaps be able to invest in property. Now, I was older, obviously, when my third marriage ended. And so I didn't have the time for compound interest to take effect in a mutual fund or an IRA account or even a 401k. So I had to do something different to get to where I wanted to be faster. And so that's why real estate, which has always been a passion of mine, jumped out at me. And I just took full advantage of that, was able to purchase a property in Wyoming in 2018 for $100,000, $25,000 down. How cool is that? The money that I spent on my student loan, I then turned around and saved and then invested in that property. And it's performing well to this day. So see what I'm talking about? Things are hopeful for you. And I know you're going to sit there and say, well, you can't buy a property for $100,000 anymore. I'm like, look, we're not here for the naysaying. We're here for what is possible for the future. We want to be in position to take advantage of a piece of real estate that makes sense when the time comes. We're putting positive energy into this because so much is possible. I bought my third property in Alabama in January 2025. People were then saying, oh, you can't invest in real estate and all the deals are gone now. It's, it cash flows. It's been cash flowing since it leased out in March. So I want you to put all of those negative thoughts aside. It starts with a decision, and everything you do from this day forward is going to be evaluated. Every purchase is going to be evaluated. Do you really need it? And I'm going to tell you that it is going to transform you as a human being. It is going to transform you as a consumer, because you are going to look at everything differently. You are going to look at every material purchase differently. You're going to look at your closet of clothing and say, do I really need all of this? What was I thinking? Can I do something different? Can I capsulize my closet? Can I make the most out of what I've got? Can I get a few accessories? What can I do for my children? What can I do differently for them? What about groceries? Do I really need this filler food? Things that aren't even making me healthier? Things that are actually making us sick and costing us more money in the long run because we're not healthy? Are we making and evaluating purchases like that? Because people tell me, oh, I can't eat healthy because it's too expensive. And I say, contraire, it is not too expensive. You purchase wisely. It fills and satisfies much faster. You don't have to buy a bunch of junk food, which is designed to make you just eat more and get unhealthier. These are all things that you can take a look at. I don't want to get into the whole health thing today, but it is an important aspect of this journey. As we move forward, it's going to be part of getting our full entire life in order. First and foremost, debt is the one thing that is really dragging so many people down, and being able to not have an incredible future in front of them, or feeling like they can't have an incredible future. This is where we got to start. So in that process, like I said, you're going to be evaluating everything. And I think you're going to find you yourself are going to change significantly as a person for the better. I am here to hold you accountable. I'm not here for all your excuses. So you have to make a decision. Are you going to get out of debt? Are you going to change your life for the better? Are you going to be a different model for your children, for your friends, for your family? Are they going to see something in you that they want? And I think so, if you just make this decision. Number 2 is drawing that line in the sand that you will never, ever return to having dumb debt. I know you've got it right now. Like if you're listening to this and you have dumb debt, you have it right now. Do not beat yourself up. Just Make a promise, make a commitment, draw that line in the sand that you will never return to having dumb debt again once you've got it paid up. That is super essential. Your life will not change for the better if you keep doing the same thing that you're doing. That's the definition of insanity. So we want to make sure that you draw that line in the sand and you never, ever return to the position you're in. Point number 3, put your plan to paper and then put that plan into action. So I know a lot of people say, well, I don't really need to write it down. I know what I've got. No, you need to write it down. You need to write it down because it's so important to see visually what you've got to conquer. So you can start with the smallest. I'm not saying to start with the highest interest rate. Start with the smallest because you want to get a quick win. So if you've got something that's like $500 that needs to be paid off, pay that baby off. You need to get that going. Pay that baby off as quickly as possible. Then move on to the next one, and then the next one, and the next one. Whatever you've got, you just need to start hacking away at it. I started that way. I started with the smallest debt that I had first when I had credit card debt before the divorce. And that was a game changer for me because it did change my mindset. It made me realize I could do this. I could do this. So get the quick win. Put your plan to paper and then put it into action. I had my funnel, and you can get that at PamelaJaneCo.com/dump debt. It's really a nice little tracker to be able to use for paying down your debt. It's motivating. You'll be able to see it happening live and in person. To recap, one is you've got to make a decision, right? You've got to make a decision about your dumb debt. Are you going to continue the insanity and hoping you're going to get somewhere else, but you're just running in circles? I'm telling you, you're never going to get anywhere else if you just keep succumbing to the latest, I got to have this, trying to impress people that don't even care about being impressed by you. So it starts with a decision. That's number 1. Number 2 is drawing that line in the sand that you're never going to return to having dumb debt. You're going to stop acquiring it and you're never going to return. I am telling you, it's life-changing. This is the hardest part of everything. Buying a piece of real estate is actually super easy. This is all the hardest part of everything right here, getting rid of the dumb debt, because it's mindset shift. The enemy wants to just hit you with having debt nonstop, like nonstop. You've got to train your brain to start breaking the chain of debt ASAP. And then lastly, you're going to put your plan to paper and then put it into action. I'm here to support you. I've given you some materials that you can go and use and get from my website. I highly recommend them. I'm going to link them in show notes or here on YouTube, wherever you're listening or watching this podcast, so that you'll have direct access to them. I have something else that I think is important, and that is that you continue to read. I say I'm a real estate and education investor. I invest in education all the time. So how do I invest in education? Sometimes it's free, sometimes it's not, right? I've taken courses. I've spent a lot in furthering my education in this online space. Even as a director of training and development, I furthered my education in that space. But I've always been fascinated with business. I've always been fascinated with growing. I've always been fascinated with real estate. So I have dug into and dove into all kinds of learning. I've spent probably $100,000 on education over time in this regard. But I don't regret a single bit of that because it's moved me so far forward. I am always reading. Reading is free. Reading is totally free. Now, I recommended this book last time. I'm still going to continue to recommend it because here, Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill talks about debt and how the enemy wants to keep us in bondage via debt. So I think you're going to find this incredibly valuable. And I'll tell you, after I finished this book, I wrote down probably 6 prayers, very specifically the way this book recommended how to pray. And I wrote those down, and I'm telling you that 5 of the 6 are answered. 3 of them got answered right away. I'm waiting for 1 more, still working on it, still praying for it. But the amazing thing is that I had never prayed that way before. This book taught me that. Just being able to change your prayer life, how phenomenal is that, right? I'll link this actual hard copy as well as Audible if you prefer to just listen to it while you're getting ready in the morning or driving, whatever it is that you might be doing. All right. So if you got value out of this, if you would be so kind to like it, to comment, to share, leave a 5-star review, any and all of those things, help the algorithm get this in front of people that really need it, because that is my mission, to help individuals who are rebuilding their lives after loss, whether it be divorce or death or bankruptcy or breakup. Again, my disclaimer, this is not divorce recovery. This is not death recovery. This is not bankruptcy counseling. This is not any of those. You've gone through all of that. You're ready to make a difference in your life. You are dead set on rebuilding your life and doing it differently. That's who this is for. So if you know anybody like that, then you want to be able to share this with them, get the information out. Thank you for being here. Bye for now, and keep dumping your dumb debt.